Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. This is my list of the 20 most iconic pieces of Alex Ross's art. With an artist like Alex Ross, it's nearly impossible to narrow it down and really to rank one piece above the other. So this is primarily just my opinion and meant to be a good way to introduce people who aren't familiar with his work to it. Originally, this was going to be a top 10 list, then a top 15. Finally, I settled on top 20. And, you know, it's not too many, but it still shows a wide range of his art. And trust me, 20 pieces is just scratching the surface of the body of his work. He's got covers with many different companies, Image, DC, Marvel, Dynamite, and others. And he also has art for different fandoms, like he's done quite a few pieces on the Beatles and Star Wars and things like that. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So starting off, we have number 20. It's The Rocketeer. It's the cover for The Rocketeer Adventures #1, which came out in May 2011 on IDW. This piece by Alex Ross is pretty cool. I really like the leather look on him. It has Alex Ross's trademark realism and is really great. And if you're like me and remember the Disney movie from 1991, The Rocketeer probably holds a special place for you. Now, number 19 is also a piece of movie art. It's The Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, and I really like this one. I think it's pretty cool. It's got, you can see the evil monkeys in the back and whatnot, and it's pretty neat. It's not really something you would expect Alex Ross to do. He's more known for superheroes, and it's really cool. I like the realism of it. Moving on, we have number 18. It's the cover to Space Ghost #1. I always loved that cartoon growing up. I thought he was a great superhero. And Alex Ross has done quite a few pictures of Space Ghost, this cover being my favorite. Moving on, we have number 17, Astro City. And this is a really great cover. I like the foreground of it with the writer thinking up the story. And you know, Astro City is actually one of the things Alex Ross is really well known for. We all think of his work on DC and Marvel, but this Image comic is really, you know, one of his main things. He did some great work for that. Moving on to the next number 16, we have from the New 52, I believe. Yeah, Batman 47, so that's gotta be from the New 52. Rebirth wouldn't be that far along, and prior to Flashpoint, the numbering was much higher. So that's my guess. In any case, it's Harley's Little Black Book, number 47, and you got the Joker and Harley Quinn in their classic look, and Batman's got him captured. You see this picture all over the place without the lettering. You know, I see this all the time online, partially, I suppose, because Harley Quinn and the Joker are so popular. Moving on to number 15, this is a personal favorite of mine, and if I were ranking these solely just on my favoritism, this one would actually be much higher than number 15. It's got a lot of the classic Hanna-Barbera characters. You got the Flintstones, the Johnny Quest crew, the Scooby-Doo crew, the Jetsons, and that's really awesome. I like it. It looks really great. It's the realistic look, and this came out before the new Hanna-Barbera comic books like the Flintstones and Future Quest and stuff. So this is the first instance we have of a more realistic look on these characters. So number 14, we have a really amazing piece of art here with Superman and Krypto, and Alex Ross did this after the 9/11 tragedy to honor all of the emergency responders who died. So you can see Superman and Krypto looking on at the police and firemen and EMS and all that who are there. And if I remember right, I think it's titled Heroes. So that's pretty awesome. Number 13, got this really great Fantastic Four cover. I believe this is for the 75th anniversary of the Fantastic Four. I like it a lot. I think Ben Grimm especially looks really cool. His rock skin looks real, you know? So it's got the four of them as human astronauts in the foreground, and in the background it has them all as the Fantastic Four. Of course, You got Ben Grimm there, the Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, and you can just barely make out Sue Storm because she's got her invisibility going. So that's really great. Number 12 is really a personal favorite of mine. This is the best picture of Batwoman I've ever seen. She's just looks terrific. It's really shiny, but the way he draws fabric in her cape, you know, and her hair, it's just tremendous. It's really realistic looking. I'm not sure what this is from, so if you know, let me know in the comments. I mean, it's obviously Alex Ross and it's Batwoman, but I don't know if it's from a comic book or a piece he did or what. Moving on, number 11 is another personal favorite of mine. It's taken from Kingdom Come, one of the panels in the book, and it is the Spectre and the Preacher in the book. And, you know, it's really iconic. It's right at the beginning when the Spectre comes and talks to him and then leads him through the story, you know. And if you haven't read that, I really recommend it. It's one of, you know, the most famous books in DC Comics, I would say, you know, definitely in the top 10. It's one of those things like The Watchmen you basically just have to read. And it's really great, you know. It's well worth your time. So, next one. Oh, we're in the top 10 now. So, number 10. This is a great picture I like here. It's Superman, and he's with the Super Pets. You've got Crypto and Streaky and Comet the Super Horse. And you can just make out behind his arm, he's got the Super Monkey. I forget what his name is. You don't see him too much. But the thing I like about this picture so much is, as powerful and strong as Superman is, he still has the control to pet, you know, a dog and a cat so delicately, you know, and not hurt them. It's really beautiful. Also, this piece of art was tweeted out at one time or another by Alex Ross, and you can see the hashtags he included are for anti-cruelty. That's really neat. Seems like a tribute thing he made specifically for that. Number 9, we've got a great The Shadow comic cover for Dynamite Comics, and you know I love The Shadow. I think he looks really great here. Really realistic, you know. He hasn't got his red mask on or anything. Looks really great. So that's for The Shadow Year 1. I'd really like to read that sometime. Now, number 8, we have... this is for the Marvel Encyclopedia, and it's really awesome. You know, it's one of those really busy pieces where it's got tons of characters, but it's done really well. They do overlap each other and stuff, but it's, you know, it's Alex Ross, so it doesn't even matter. They look great. And it's got all the main ones. I mean, well, you know, there's a ton, but it's got most of the main ones. You got Captain America, Spiderman, Hulk, Wolverine. I think there's even Doctor Doom in the background. Namor, Iron Man, the Punisher, Daredevil, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's got villains too. I see the Green Goblin back there. So that's pretty awesome. That's a really great cover. I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy, but I really like that cover. It's great. Number 7, we've got Shazam, The Power of Hope, one of the truly great stories in comic books. And the cover's great, but actually I'm giving number 7, the number 7 slot to this panel here. And, you know, it's Shazam there, and he's with all of these kids at the hospital who are sick. And the text says, "Christopher here wants to go with me on one of my adventures." The other kids chime in saying they also want to help fight bad guys and go on rescue missions. And that's just the sweetest thing ever. I don't care who you are, that's really touching. And that's part of what drew me to DC were heroes like this, like Shazam and Superman. When they're at their best, they protect the innocent and take care of the weak. That's basically what they do. Superman should be rescuing people 90% of the time and fighting villains 10% of the time, in my opinion. That, you know, like Superman Returns wasn't the best movie ever, but him preventing a plane from crashing, that's perfect. I mean, that's Superman. That's the kind of thing I like to see. So, moving on, number 6 cover, number 6 is the Captain America number 22 cover, which is also really busy, but I like better than the Marvel Encyclopedia cover. It's really, really awesome. You've got the young Steve in the foreground, centered right in the middle, majestic Captain America in the back with all the birds and the bombers, you know, the jet fighters. You've got Captain America and Bucky and the Avengers and others down there around with him. It's really great. This is a great example of how to do a busy cover, and got a ton of characters, but they don't overlap too much. It's centered really amazingly well, of course, and the flow of it's just awesome. It's like perfect. If you were going to do a busy cover, this is the way to do it. This is perfect, like literally perfect. Number 5, personal favorite of mine, it's Star Wars Princess Leia, number 1 for Marvel Comics. It's really awesome, I think. It's got the realism, of course, and I think Princess Leia, I was watching a video recently, I forget on whose channel, but he said something like Leia is the original hero, like female heroine to be done right. Like, she's a perfect hero, basically, and she's got some really awesome stories. And, especially with Carrie Fisher passing and all that, I thought this was a good cover to include. So, moving on, we're at number 4, Wonder Woman, Spirit of Truth. Now, this is great. If you're into art and need to learn how to draw eyes, look at Alex Ross's art. This is a truly awesome cover, and the story and the art throughout, he does the art through it as well. He did this book, Shazam, Power of Hope, Batman, War on Crime, Superman, Peace on Earth, and does the covers and the interior art, and they're really exceptionally good books. I would like to get them sometime, but they're actually a little bit on the expensive side. I don't think they've been reprinted anytime recently. So that's a story on that. If you get a chance to, definitely, read it or buy it, whatever you can. So, number 3, Marvel's number 2. So this is book 2 of 4. And I haven't read a ton of X-Men, but I would make an argument that this is the best X-Men book there is. Really amazing, and talks a lot about diversity and equality and what it's like to be different, but it doesn't do it in a preachy way. Like, this came out in 1994, so they don't beat you over the head with like analogies that are blatant. Like, they let you figure things out a little bit for yourself. Like, it's a very smart book, and the art in it, of course, is amazing. Just looking at the cover there, you can see the quote-unquote normal people were all in a mob, and they were going to kill that little girl who was a mutant. And one of the X-Men there, that's Angel, I'm quite sure. It's been a little bit since I've read these, but that's Angel. I mean, look at him. So anyways, he saves her. And the story in this is really awesome. It follows around this guy who is an investigative reporter, and he does photography, and he's following around the X-Men and taking pictures of them. And he really hates mutants. Like, he's a bigot to mutants. That's his character. And he has 2 little daughters, and they find that mutant girl who's orphaned, and basically are taking care of her and stuff. And when he finds out, you expect him to be mad, but it's like it breaks him, he kind of suddenly sees them as, if not humans, like sentient beings that deserve the same rights as everyone else. And his little girls really bring that about. It's a beautiful story, and the art is amazing. So, number 2, we got the Justice Society of America books. It's so hard to pick just one, He did a whole bunch of covers for this series, and they came out like 2007, 2008, and I actually have a whole bunch of them. Here's the picture of the ones I have, and boy, I don't even know which one I'd pick. They're all terrific. I really love the art on these, and I was so fortunate to get them. I actually, kind of sucks because I liked the store, but it had a going out of business sale, and I scooped all these up. I suppose if I were going to pick one of the JSA covers, I'd go with the Mr. Terrific, the Almac Project tie-in cover, and that's got Jeff Johns writing, and it's a great book. But of course, I'm a fan of Mr. Terrific, and that's Mr. Terrific with the fair play sleeve and everything. That he's just looking cool there. So we're up to number 1. What could it be? I bet you can guess. If you can't guess, you don't know me very well yet. Number 1 is Kingdom Come. The cover, I'm going to go ahead and go with the cover on that. Make it simple. The whole book's great. All the art in the book's great. Every single panel's great. But I'll go with the cover. It's really awesome. You got all the characters up front and center. And the Alan Scott and his knight, armor made from his own willpower is pretty awesome. I love to see that. So this is my top 20 list of Alex Ross art pieces. You know, he's got a ton of them, so if there are some that you like better, or you feel, should have been on this list, or hey, maybe you thought they shouldn't have been on the list, let me know in the comments section. And as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It only takes a second to subscribe, and it helps me out immensely. You have no idea how happy I get when I see the amount of subscribers has gone up.
End of line.